Hello again. Oh my goodness. It's a fruitful day. I was laughing because I was on here earlier. I was on here earlier today talking about Jesus. And now I'm back on here again with you amazing people. And I'm excited. This is going to be a really great call today. So, thanks for jumping on. We're going to be talking about the wonderful world of cryptocurrency because really, really great things are happening in crypto, y'all. Like, let's make no mistake about it. Okay. And I'm just trying to get my Wi Fi is it's freezing up a little bit. Hey, 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 hey. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I hope your day is going really great. I hope you've already been up and at it and declaring that today was going to be the best day of your life. That's how we do. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you got the book. Thanks. I'm glad you got it. I hope that it gave you some education on why this space is like so crazy important, right, Dee Dee? Hey, Dee Dee. What's up, beautiful girl? Are they leaving the American Topic Group? Yeah, they need to be leaving and coming over here. Hey, Sean. Yeah, tell him just stay on and Are you able to hear me? Okay. Sean, push everybody to my Facebook Live, please. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to send it out. Okay. All right, so we about to get into it. First of all, thanks for jumping on here today. I'm really, really excited. We've got some really powerful things happening right now in the world of cryptocurrency. And you've been hearing about it, but I want to make sure that you guys are actually, putting the application thing on there, right? Because you can hear something, Alicia, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually applying it. Or sometimes you can hear something so much that you end up becoming like desensitized to what's being said. And you guys don't need to be desensitized to what's being said. You need to actually be quite alert, quite attentive to what's happening, right, Donna? Because what's happening right now is a complete game changer. And so we have a meeting coming up in Charlotte, North Carolina, September the 24th and 25th, 2 days of power on everything where digital franchise, digital businesses, digital investments are concerned. And you definitely want to be there because we are literally at the beginning of a new era. Most of the time, most people have lived through new eras and they didn't necessarily know it. And so, like, for example, when everybody really started using email, everything was email, or everything was Facebook. You might have not realized that you had an opportunity to kind of plant your flag there in the very beginning, right, Lisa, and get in on that and be an investor in Facebook. But if it was going on and you were hearing about it, but you're oblivious to it because you have not been taught to pay attention to startups, right? There's actually a show on a series on Netflix right now called Startup, and it is a really, really good one. I love it. It's really good, and it's actually dealing with crypto and starting new entities and new businesses and stuff like that. And so I really want to encourage you guys that you need to be attentive to startups. You need to be attentive to startup companies, startup. Digital currency, startup NFTs. And these are some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. Again, we have a meeting coming up on September the 24th and 25th, NAIA at Charlotte, in Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's definitely a meeting that you want to be at. I'm also going to have joining me in just a momentos, our brother Nick Gomez, who I call definitely a crypto king, and he has had helped a lot of people become very wealthy in a short amount of time if they just follow the blueprint. So one of the things we all have to do, Naya, is just get to a point where we just end up playing a really, really big game of follow the leader, right? That's what it's really all about, is playing a big game of follow the leader. And so that's what we're going to be kind of talking to you guys about today, and helping you to kind of put yourself in a position to really, really level up in this space. And so I'm going to have two dynamic speakers that come on here. But while I'm waiting for them to come on, I'm going to just share a little bit of tea with you. This is some stuff that's pretty, I think, significant to what's happening in the world today. And you guys know I really like to follow billionaires and what they're saying in the area of cryptocurrency, and what we offer. I think is pretty huge right here. And so I'm gonna just pull this up really quickly so you guys can kind of see what's happening in the world of crypto and what's being said kind of at large with cryptocurrency, and why I think this is really, really important for us to, really get into this space, and really get in it. This just came out. This video just came out.
Do you know the best place in your house to potentially save money? Not the garage, not the kitchen, but here, the roof.
Okay.
If your roof doesn't have solar panels on it, then you may be throwing away money on your electric bills every month. And before you say, okay, genius, but how much is it going to cost upfront at the time of installation? Well, here's the surprise.
We're in year 1 or year 2 of commercial Bitcoin banking. We haven't even, what's the date? It's like the early part of August. Our first Bitcoin acquisition was August 11th or something like that. So we're not even 1 year into it. And I think when you get to 3 to 5 years into the world of Bitcoin banking, the security issues, the regulatory issues, the due diligence issues. Can you show me a Bitcoin bank that's taken $1 billion of Bitcoin and generated yield consistently for 10 years in a row without any kind of mishap? No. How about 5 years? How about 3 years? So the point really is you're taking 100 times as much risk, and it's 10 times as complicated to get 5% more. Let me turn it around a different way. If I'm going to go ahead, I wouldn't take 100x more risk, okay, to start with, right? That, as a fiduciary, that doesn't make sense. Let's assume that it wasn't any risk. It was just 10 times harder. Well, why would I divert the time of my legal team and my finance team to go jump through 10 times as many compliance, accounting, security, regulatory, and process hoops when I have other things I could do at the time? Why don't I just go and raise another $1 billion and buy Bitcoin that's been yielding 120% a year for a decade? Wouldn't it make a lot more sense to leverage up or to acquire more of the thing that's going up 120% a year than it is to divert everybody in order to get it to go up 123% a year with 100 times as much risk and 10 times as much complexity? So it's let me offer a different example. So do you want to buy 100,000 acres in Vegas and just own it and you could do it overnight? Or do you want to carefully huddle with 100 architects and plan 150 hotels and the septic systems and all the traffic light systems and all the elevator systems of all the casinos and hotels and restaurants in Vegas?
You're the king of analogies. I love it.
So it's complicated and risky and distracting and diluted. But you understand, you raised all your capital with a strategy to invest in a diversified portfolio of securities. And maybe you've got a tighter strategy. Maybe your focus is on the crypto world or the whatever world, right? Well, my strategy is to run an enterprise software company that builds the world's best business intelligence software. And my second strategy is to acquire and hold Bitcoin. And that's the first 2 paragraphs, or the first paragraph of my 10K. If you read it and pull it, that's what it says.
Sure.
Well, that's a very clear disclosure. If you're investing in MSTR, then that's what you're expecting to get. My job is not to diversify your portfolio to 100 other securities. My job is not to hedge the risk. In fact, if you had $100 million and you wanted 1% exposure to Bitcoin, you might prefer to own MicroStrategy that says we're going to be 3x leverage Bitcoin than own a Bitcoin ETF, which is 1x leverage Bitcoin. And you certainly don't want to take your 1% and invest it in a company run by Yo-Yo Smith that sometimes buys and sometimes.
Okay, so let me stop, because Michael, for the average person who has no idea what's going on, he's already lost. He's lost me before I educated myself in this space. The bottom line is that Bitcoin is literally changing, and cryptocurrency at large is literally changing every aspect of the way that we do life. Not just business, but life, how we purchase food, how we transportation, airplanes, how we, like you said, even use a traffic light in there. It's basically taking some of the most brilliant minds in the entire world that have come together collectively to change how we do everything, right, every day. So what happens is anytime you have an opportunity to get in at the beginning of something, then you have an opportunity to change your wealth portfolio and your life as well. So what happens is, I used earlier, like how, if you saw Facebook when it first came out, and you were like, oh child, I ain't thinking about Facebook, that's not for me, I don't do Facebook. Or if you had that attitude about Instagram, oh child, I don't do Instagram, I don't fool with that, da 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 da. So then what ends up happening, you end up missing all of these eras. We right now are at the beginning of a new era, and that era is called digital. It's called digital currency. And so what we want to do is put you guys in a position to make sure that you are getting the education. But this is the bigger thing that I want you to understand. And, I've been in this space for 5 years, going on 6 years now. It'll be 6 years for me in April. And this is what I want you to understand. This space is forever evolving. It's forever changing. So just when you think, oh, I learned about Bitcoin and maybe I bought some Bitcoin, or I learned about XRP and I bought some XRP, then you start realizing that there are different ways that you can utilize it that will expand, make your life better, make your life stronger, and definitely make your life a lot richer. So I played that video just to not totally that I wanted you to digest everything that Michael Saylor was saying, but more so to let you know what's out there, and that we have an opportunity for you to come into this platform in this Wealth Academy and learn with us, because we're all learning. This whole digital era it's an infant. You know what I mean? We're in the infancy of it. This is not, hey, Dwayne, welcome to the party.
What's up? What's up?
Excited to have you. I know, I'm excited to have you on here, brother. But I was just kind of talking to them about, this era that we're in. We're literally at the beginning of a new era, and that era is called digital. And it's not an era that you can say, oh, okay, well, I bought Bitcoin last year, or I bought some XRP 6 months ago. This era is going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to change because it's vast, and it's not just a one-man show. I was playing for them earlier, Dwayne, a video of Michael Saylor, and basically what he said about this whole space just, a couple of, or just actually earlier in August, he was saying it. Hey, Nick Gomez, welcome to the party. Can you hear?
Yeah, now I hear you guys. How you all doing? Good?
Hey, Nick, I'm excited to have my billionaire brothers on here with me today. But I was just kind of talking about, the world of crypto. And of course, people sometimes, when you keep hearing something, then if you're not careful, it'll become normalized, or you'll kind of somewhat become desensitized to what's being said. But I really want to, encourage you guys to plug in. I was just playing a video that Michael Saylor did an interview, who's a Bitcoin billionaire, who did an interview a couple weeks ago. And he was talking about, just this vast unknown world that we're all learning and exploring together. No one really has a cap on it. A lot of us have become very successful with it. And I want them to understand why, plugging into this academy, coming out to Charlotte, where we're having an event for digital investors and digital franchise owners, people that realize that everything is going digital. That's literally happening September 24th and 25th in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we'll give you guys information about that, and you guys will have an opportunity. But I'm going to play just a little bit more of Michael, and then I'll get ready to, turn it over to you guys, and we can have a little bit of discussion with it. So again, guys, not that I want that you're going to understand everything that Michael is saying, but I think that he's probably one of the best people to kind of give you a glimpse of how futuristic we are, how we have an opportunity to become futurists. If you're not a futurist, this is an opportunity for you to become a futurist, because the way you become wealthy is get there before everybody else knows where we're going, right? Where money is concerned in particular. So I'm going to play just a little bit more of this, and then we'll keep it moving.
Sells Bitcoin and hedges it for you, but doesn't tell you what they're going to do, and they're not predictable.
Hey, Jewel, can you guys hear? Maybe it's just me.
I don't
Yeah,
really
no, I can't hear you either.
like
You can't hear- okay,
that's
can
going
you
to
hear
change
now?
their strategy and blow with
Got
the
it.
wind, because it makes it impossible for me as the portfolio manager to construct my portfolio rationally. If you're in the aluminum business, I want you to do aluminum. And if you're going to be in the timber business, I want you to buy timber. And if you're in the Bitcoin business, I want you to buy Bitcoin. And the one thing I don't want to read is, well, the company may or may not buy it, and they may hedge it if they get worried about it. And they, they're not quite sure, right? Because, I mean, if I wanted an uncertain, security or an uncertain outcome, there's a lot of ways to get an uncertain outcome. I want to know what I'm buying. That's why you put it up front. From an investor relations point of view, our job is to have a strategy and execute the strategy with clarity and consistency. And I think from a securities point of view, that's definitely the safest and most responsible way to go about it, right? If you're unpredictable, that creates complications down the road. I think everybody underestimates the success and the value of Bitcoin, and they overestimate everything else. Bitcoin is 10 years old, successful proof of work system. It's not clear to me.
Selling physical products is not the best way of
Okay.
making money on Amazon in 2021. Now, yes, that model does.
Okay, guys. So, he said most people kind of underestimate. I don't think they just underestimate Bitcoin. I think they underestimate probably cryptocurrency and what's happening with the future of money. And so this is why, this community that we have with Dwayne Lodge and Nick Gomez and I think is so huge. And I'm so tremendously grateful every single day to be in this space. And guys, we have an event coming up in Charlotte, September 24th and 25th. And if somebody would just put that in the chat where you guys can buy tickets for 2 days, we're gonna have our brother Nick there. So Nick, Dwayne, I'm gonna let you bring Nick to the stage, and I just want to ask him a couple questions. We're probably thinking about some of the same questions, and we'll just have a little quick conversation here. But this conversation,
Sure.
the wealth conversation, go ahead, share this feed with somebody, text message somebody, tell them jump on here right now, because this is the stuff that if they don't know. I'm concerned for people who do not get involved in crypto at all. I'm very concerned about their overall well-being, because the reality is wealth impacts every area of your life. So I get excited. So I'm gonna turn it over to my billionaire brother Dwayne. I'm excited to have you on here, brother. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I won't, spend too much time up here, but I'm honored to be in the middle of both of you all, because it's an exciting time. I mean, the time that we're in right now is unique. I love how one of my friends says, one of our partners, he says we're experiencing a portal of success that we need to enter. But I like to kind of take it back, because a lot of people know me, Nick, just from like a marketer. They always see me marketing stuff. I've been marketing for years, right? And I've marketed like travel stuff. You probably know what's going on there, Nick. But now we've transitioned into marketing investment ideas and in this whole investment space. And people know Dwayne as a marketer, but I'm so excited about this space, because even though I've made money in other places, now when it comes to investments, to me, this is the smart money. This is where you work smart, not necessarily work hard. So I'm fired up about what we have our hands on. And for me, my heart really lays where I can help be the bridge to other people. That's one thing that, I've always kind of done, has been the bridge to help the next family, position themselves to do better financially. So I'm just super excited about having you in Charlotte, North Carolina. because when I first joined this space, all right, you were one of the guys that people, and they're still ranting and raving about, you know, and I'm like, okay, this guy, Nick Gomez, he's one of the gurus in the area that many of us were just not raised on. So before I introduce you, Nick, I mean, I want you to kind of hear a little bit of my backstory. You know, like, I'm just not raised on this stuff, man. Like, me and my community, we're not raised on, you know, wealth strategies. We're raised on working strategies. You know, like, we know how to look in the classifieds. You know, we know how to beg the boss for a couple extra hours. And then I meet a guy like Nick Gomez, who he's not begging for extra hours, you know, but it's because that he knows something that most people don't necessarily know. He's been studying a space that most people have not been studying. See, we've been dabbling, all right? Many people have been dabbling in this space. They've been dabbling in crypto. They've been dabbling in trying to understand why Tory Lanez is ranting over his NFTs, right? People have been dabbling, but what I'm excited about is bringing a guy like Nick and putting you on stage and saying, hey, Nick, you're not a dabbler. You're not a dabbler at all. Like, you really got knee deep into this and you understand what's happening. And we have the privilege of bringing a powerhouse like you to a city where people are a little bit, not fully educated on this information, you know. So I'm glad to be one of the middlemen who are able to help bridge, you know, this gap, and to have a powerhouse like you, bro. I mean, you can probably hear it in my tone. I'm excited, man. Even though I've made money already, like, I'm excited, you know, because I know other people will now be able to win because of the knowledge and the information you bring. So, guys, I want to pass it over to Nick. This guy is incredible. This guy knows his stuff. He's been in this space for years. And I want him to kind of share his story a little bit, because some people have no idea who the heck is Nick Gomez. I mean, you know, we love you, bro. But some people right now have no idea who's Nick Gomez. They don't know what super bid is on your hat, bro. They don't get this stuff, you know? Like, give them a little bit of backstory before you dive into some detail.
For sure. Well, hey, super excited to be here. Thank you, Dr. Jewel. Thank you, Dwayne. I'm fired up to be here. Excited to be in North Carolina. I think that'll be my first time out there, to be honest with you. So excited. I'm gonna bring my girlfriend, the pup, kind of explore also the area. It'll be nice. But hey, for those of you that don't know me, I've been in the crypto space back since 2016. I've been involved as an entrepreneur since 2013. I'm 26, and like many, everyone had the question about crypto. I just had it a little bit earlier. I've been studying the craft a little bit longer, and perfecting it to a T recently, and still a student to the game, but excited to just teach it to everybody. You know, I think crypto is an emerging industry, and all that's really missing for you to understand these NFTs and what's going on in decentralized finance or Bitcoin and all these fancy words that sound very intimidating and crazy can be just as simple as understanding your cell phone, computer, Mac, or even back then when the internet came about. So excited to be here. I know we got some questions, so I'm here to just educate and guide everybody. And of course, I know North Carolina is coming up, so super excited for that event.
Do you see, and Dwayne, you got a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, before we even get into the questions, I mean, I like to just, Nick, man, you've done some pretty special things, man. I've heard a few of your stories. I mean, just sometimes I know I'm just telling you the kind of group that's watching right now, Nick. They like to hear a few things. They like to hear, okay, I hear you educating, but what's going on? Like, like Nick lives a pretty freaking awesome life. Like, go follow this man. All right. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm in the wrong town. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. He's in Miami. I'm like, hold on. I need to bounce over. But Nick, just tell them some of the highlights of what you do in your due diligence in this area. Just share a couple highlights. People want to hear some of that stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to crypto, no income claims. Obviously, everybody has their own different results. I was able to achieve 7 figures by the time I was 21. And then multiple.
Hold on, you can't just say that real quick, Nick. Hold on, we got to clap for that, Nick.
And then multiple 7 here.
Some people may not see 7 figures in a lifetime. All right, I'm just
yeah. But that's why we're here. We're here to guide them and help them. You know what I mean? So by 25, I'm 26. By 25, I did multiple 7 figures. I bought my dream car, both cars, incredible condo. Right now, I'm actually looking to, build my, my home here with some pre-construction around some of my buddies, Jason Brown, etc., Matt. But highlights, really, I think the biggest highlight of me is just taking care of my mother, my single mother. She works because she wants to, not because she has to, and just being able to do whatever you want when you want. I think that to me is the biggest freedom, spending as much time you can with family. I think that's my biggest highlight. And of course, traveling the world and educating people. I think that's just the best part about all this, for sure.
So prior to this, Nick, like what was Nick's life like before? So, I mean, you did well in other spaces. I've watched Nick. I followed Nick. Come on now. But I mean, like, give us like before all of this, Nick. Where you used to work.
I worked at Hollister. My first job ever was Hollister. I had the Justin Bieber haircut. How it was popular back then. I had like a mop on my head, and it was in my town. It was really cool to work in these stores, Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister. So my dream was to just work at that store because it was a cool thing at the time. And that was the first time I got experience to the workforce. I've always been an entrepreneur. Middle school, high school, we didn't have a lot of funds. My family didn't because it was really just my mom. So I had that entrepreneurial spirit from early on. I sold Hershey's and cream cookie bars to buy my Xbox, to buy my GameCube. That's what I did in middle school and high school, because if my family couldn't provide it, I'd figure it out. I flipped iPhones and cell phones on Craigslist when I was in high school. And then when I got that first job, I said, this isn't for me. There's no way 60 minutes, $7.57 an hour. It doesn't make sense. My manager was making twice as much as me in the register on Twitter back then. And I'm like, there has to be something different. And that's where I got introduced to network marketing. That was 2013 in July. And I was shocked. I was like, how do they not teach this in high school? Like, where was this in middle school? Like, you're telling me I do this, I can make this. And my how I view the world, I'm just like, if there's all this abundance and all these people achieving all these incredible highlights in their life, I think anybody could achieve it. Is just finding the right avenue to do it, and my right mentorship and the right guidance. So, I went full throttle. I was 17 at the time when I got into network marketing. I made my first 6 figures when I was 19 in network marketing. And then that industry then led me to cryptocurrency. And here we are. So, I did your side jobs. I did door-to-door sales while I was doing network marketing. Anything to just try to help, not me have to have a job, but something that I could do part-time to still pay the bills while I built my fortune. And, and then crypto came about and everything just changed really, really drastically.
Come on. Appreciate that backstory.
Of course.
All right, Dr. Joe, I know you probably want to hit them with some of the
No,
real
go ahead.
questions.
That was really good. I'm glad you stopped and said, hey, because sometimes we do have to hear pre. I just got off a meeting with my team and they were like, it's great that you're like, yeah, but let's roll it back a little bit, And so, no, I think it's important because we want to meet, this is for everybody, Dwayne, right? This is for everybody, right. Nick. This is not just for the rich. This is not for the poor. This is really for anybody that will be open to say, hey, I want to learn. I want to know. So, Dwayne, do you have another question?
Yeah. I mean, let's just touch on that real quick. I mean, because Nick, you're like a doctor, right? You got to be like a genius to do this crypto stuff, right? Like you got how many degrees do you have?
None. I dropped out. So listen to this. This is the funniest part. I dropped out of college because I failed remedial algebra 3 times. I couldn't pass remedial algebra. I just couldn't. The X and the Y and the Z and the this, and I just couldn't do it. And I dropped out. I had a scholarship for football, and I said, you know what? I just can't do it. Money was also a problem, and you don't need degrees. I mean, I think if anything, you study enough time, like you hear it all the time, 10,000 hours in any craft, you become potentially a master, right? You master your craft. And depending what craft you're mastering, it could pay, limitless income depending on your field. So definitely no degree.
I mean, because listen, Nick, it is what it is, right? I mean, we got people watching and they hear crypto, NFT, all this, like you said, it's all this fancy wording. All this fancy, and it almost intimidated me, Nick, to be honest. I almost didn't come into this company. Now, I was pushing vacation packages. I'm like, yeah, cool kid, travel, hang out. Yeah. Cool. Then they're like, Dwayne, crypto, NFT, blah, 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 the T, ABC. I'm like, no, that sounds like X, Y, and Z's. No, I'm not here for the exponents. I don't want to do exponents, but it's cool to hear a guy that's won as big as you've won and helped as many people as you've helped, that you're not some prestigious, super duper degreed up person. You're an everyday guy. And that's what I like about the story that I kind of, did my little homework on Nick. I'm like, man, this guy has a similar story to me, came from a, similar background, family-wise, sports guy, dropped out of college. The exponents got to him the way they got to me. I'm like, man, this guy reminds me of myself. I'm just excited, man, to bring you to Charlotte, North Carolina. So I think that's the point right there. You don't have to be a genius to get educated. Now, Nick, you said something that I want to highlight, right? Nick, you said, because I say the same thing. I'm a little bit older than you, Nick. All right, a little bit. All right. But I remember when the internet came out, right? The internet, period. Somebody give me a me in the chat box if you too remember when the internet came out. All right, Nick doesn't remember. He was still.
I remember. I remember
dial-up.
I remember dial-up. I remember.
But I remember when the internet came out, right? And like in my communities, hear me closely, everybody. In my community, it was a scary time. It was a don't make a move. Everybody step back, get away, watch out, stand down type of season. And now, like Dr. Jules laughing, right? But it's like now, once you know better, you do better. You don't stand down when the world is making a shift like this. You got to educate yourself so you know how to lean in, so you know how to step into it, so you know how to multiply versus trying to hoard. And I get it, because a lot of my community, we're from like, let's hold on, just hold on to our last dollar. We don't want to lose this last dollar. But see, if you're educated, it's called a pullback, and it's about to take off. And you actually, when you know better, you do better, and then you become, maybe a 6-7, figure rock star because you were educated. So I'm so glad you're coming out to educate people who come from like you come from, and they're not, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees in. We're everyday people, but if you can get enough education, you can really live the lifestyle of your dreams. So I love that it's about, helping the average person.
Check this out.
Just get educated.
That was my car.
Bro, don't play these games. Check this. Y'all better. This is it, y'all. Look at this. What is that, Nick?
As normal as it gets. Yeah, no, this was embarrassing. I had a put yourself in the picture. You're 18, 17. You're building a business. You're calling yourself an entrepreneur. You're driving an 03 Corolla with 3 gray doors and 1 black. So at every meeting, every event, every hotel event, I parked on the right side, right? On the good, clean side. Right. And that's how I built my business. And, I bought my dream car. It's, I don't know if we could disclose all this on this live, but I bought my dream car, and it's crazy because it's just like anybody could do it. It's just the right info. It's just the right opportunity. I come from very humble beginnings, and that's the car I used to drive, you know what I mean? And just with the right craft, you can't, never, what would be the word? Never never de-edify what a year could do in your life. Like in 365 days, I've seen the biggest jumps for people in their life. And if you're the right people, the right information, don't underestimate what could happen in under a year. Wow. Because big things can happen really, really quickly if you just make a decision.
Wow. All right, Dr. Jewel, I'm done. All
right. No, I just got to ask you. Okay, we'll say it like this. What is one of your dream cars?
Yeah. Dream cars, McLaren, and really nice custom Jeep so far. Yeah.
I love it. So
most people don't even know what a McLaren is, Nick. That's how I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Can we just see a picture of a McLaren?
Right. Y'all go Google it.
But no, that was Dwayne. You actually dug in some good areas that I think, because sometimes people do kind of count themselves out. You listen to people who've had success, and you like, oh, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know, where I'm living. You don't know any of that. And Nick came on and showed us where his car was, but he made it what his car used to be, what he used to drive. And it's funny because I used to drive a Toyota Corolla 03. It was red. It was candy apple red. But yeah, it's crazy because I think we're all just really a decision away. And I want to encourage you guys that are watching, go ahead, go chairman.events.com. If somebody could put that in the comments for me, go ahead and get your tickets. Come hang out with us on September 24th and 25th. Go ahead and say, I think we're 122, 121 days away from winding this whole 2021 up. So I think we all should be asking ourselves, for me, I'm super grateful for where I am. And Nick, I know you feel this way, and Dwayne, I know you feel this way, but I have no interest in staying where I am. It's so much abundance out here, but we have to make a decision that we're going to go after it. Dwayne, you said something earlier. It's not about how hard you can work. It's about you becoming smart and hanging out with people that are smarter than you. Right? That's really what it's about. So we've been on here 40 minutes. I can't believe it. Nick, what are some things that people are going to walk away with? I know you're going to be one of our main speakers there in Charlotte. What would you tell the average person knows nothing? Why do you need to be there? What are you going to be sharing?
So my goal is to get there and really give you just that breakthrough, like I had it. Every time I'm on stage or I do a training, my whole goal is, it doesn't matter what your age is, where you come from, it's for you to receive the information like I received it in such a simple way where it just clicks, Maybe you got introduced to the internet the wrong way. Maybe you got introduced to smartphones the wrong way. Maybe you got introduced to an industry the wrong way, and maybe now you do it. And I got introduced the wrong way, to be honest with you, with crypto. I would have gotten into way earlier. So it's just my goal is to give you that breakthrough, the information, the basics, but not just the basics, then how to take action on it, how to utilize what we do with our academy, how to take advantage of these educators, these positions, these trade ideas, how to build a portfolio. And for those of you that trade already, I'm going to be on the charts and actually be able to share with you. Sorry for the dogs over here. Got some puppies. But I'm also going to be able to cover the charts and show you guys how my strategy. And I've been doing that lately on a lot of events and showing you guys what time-based Fibonacci is, how to master Fibonacci, because that's my style of trading. Chris actually taught me it here in this group chat, and it's just revolutionized my trading. So for those of you that are beginners, everything you're going to need with crypto. And for those of you that are advanced, I'm going to give you guys a lot of nuggets to just take your trading to the next level for sure.
Man, that's perfect, man. So if y'all, just one more time, man, he's covering the beginners. So you can come in there and know nothing. He's going to make sure that you leave knowing what you need to know. And you can come in there knowing a little something, right? He's going to take your game to a new level. All right. So I appreciate you, Nick. I don't want to hold you any longer, man, but thank you so much. I'm telling you, bro, we're honored to have you in Charlotte. Our goal is to make you a big deal. Nick is one of about a dozen other, I'm going to just call it millionaires, who are going to be in that room that we're flying in, all right, to attend this event and train. He's one of a few, all right? So we're looking at making Nick a big deal because we know how special his particular area is, cryptocurrency, the digital space. That is where it's at. I mean, you can't go down your timeline without seeing somebody excited about digital success, all right? And that's what Nick is bringing to us. So I appreciate you, brother. I look forward to hanging out with you, man. We're going to have a good time. So thanks again, Nick.
No, of course. Thanks for having me. All right. Y'all have a good one. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Okay, so Dwayne, man, that was fire, right? That was complete fire. That was complete fire. I'm sure everybody is really ready to go. And so this is what I want to do. Get back with the person that invited you. Yeah. Somebody might have invited you on here today and you I need in on all of this. Yeah, you really should be getting in on all of this. For real. We're at the beginning of an era, guys. You finally have an opportunity to be in at the beginning of something.
Right.
And somebody that's going to hold your hand and walk you through the whole thing. So, Dwayne, any last words you want to give the beautiful people?
I mean, I'm just giving the energy at this point because, I mean, I'm excited. Honestly, even though I've already done well, me and my immediate family has done well, I mean, I almost feel obligated. That's why I'm so invested into this weekend. I feel obligated to make sure that if you're listening, you can't miss that day. What are you doing on that day that can drop 6-7 figure information into your tank, right? What are you doing on that day? If you're not doing something that can drop 7 figures worth of information into your tank, come get around us. And like Dr. Jewel just said, a lot of times that's the turning point. It's just getting in the atmosphere. All right, come get in the atmosphere for guys. I'm trying to tell you, we make this stuff cool. We make it fun. We make it attractive. We actually got a party. We're having a cryptocurrency party that night. So we're gonna
Yes.
learn and
Yes.
make money during the day, but then we're gonna party.
Let's
that night.
go.
So like,
We got the boat party for those of you that qualify for that. And it is, I mean, when I tell y'all we have so much fun together, we're living our dreams,
Right.
we're growing our dreams, and we're igniting other people's dreams
Right.
to start dreaming again and really just, you really are at a point right now. I'll say this, I think I said this the other day, and it's so true. Like, in order to have a good quality of life, not just the really dope car or the dope mansion, I enjoy both of those things, but to even just be healthy, to even just feel good,
Right.
you need money. You need money for the supplements, you need money for the water, you need money for the shakes, like to eat organic. Like everybody should be on some organic stuff right now. Like, even whether you got the vaccine or not, doesn't matter. Like, you need to be doing everything that's going to make your immune system behave the way that God originally intended it. And it's not cheap to be healthy. It costs. I think our reason for being wealthy today, Dwayne, is so much bigger than what it was probably even 10 years ago before we started having all this stuff, roam the earth, which I'm praying against. But my point is, meantime, in between time, you need to be up. And it's going to cost money.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, bottom line, I mean, no matter where you are financially right now, I mean, you can relate to that message. I mean, it costs, y'all. And guess what? Life ain't getting no cheaper. Life ain't getting no cheaper. All right. So,
Say
I
it
mean,
again for the people in the back. Say it again for the people in the back.
With that being said, with life ain't getting no cheaper, with that being said, I don't even understand how you can afford not to get in the atmosphere of people who are doing their best to make the biggest money games in the world, the simplest, the most convenient money games in the world, to make that simplified for you. Our whole goal is simple, simple, simple. Our goal is to make what could be complex and make it simple. What's supposed to sound all nerdy, we make it sound cool and attractive. We're making it simple. All right. So again, guys, you can go out here and try to dabble and figure it out on your own. Don't mess around and miss this thing because you ain't getting it simplified for you. We're bringing it to you. We're flying people in. We're putting the powerhouse lineup together to make this thing simple for you, because life ain't getting no easier, y'all. It's only going to get more challenging. You just got to get bigger. All right. You got to get bigger.
You got to get bigger, and you sure enough need to be richer. Because you're right. I think ease is going to be for the people that have wealth.
Wow.
The people that don't have wealth, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a struggle because it impacts every area of your life. Somebody put in the chat, inflation is going to get real. You're absolutely right. $1.7 trillion President Biden just approved for infrastructure for America. Who's going to pay for that money? The poor is going to pay for that money. Then he just approved another $3.5 trillion, okay, for education. Who's going to pay for that? What is going to happen when the feds go in that back room and print that money? The value of the overall dollar is going to be weak. You're going to be to a point where you don't want to spend it. Somebody said, do you think it's going to be obsolete? I don't think it's going to be obsolete, but I think the purchasing power is going to be so low that you're going to want to pull out your phone and say, hey, I use this Bitcoin. I'm trying to spend dollars, right? Or leverage it to get cash, which is DeFi banking. So there's a lot you guys need to get. I love the word that you used, Dwayne, dabble. Like, you ain't got time to be dabbling with wealth. It's time to jump off up in that thing, submerge yourself in it so that you can live the way you want to live.
Right.
Eat the way you want to eat. Drive what you deserve to drive.
Right.
And have your own. Period. End of story. So
yeah. Right. So guys, get your tickets. I mean, we're almost sold out. All right. So I mean, go get a ticket now. I mean, like, go invest in your future. Go invest in your family. All right. Go get a ticket now. Like, do not delay. We're done talking. Go grab a ticket. Not now, but right now. Get a ticket and solidify yourself that I'm going to educate myself. A lot of times you don't make these jumps and dive in because you're just not educated. Come get in the atmosphere so you can say, oh, that's why they're so excited. That makes sense. let me start making some moves now. But you don't make moves when you're uneducated. All right, come get educated so you can be on the right side of money. We got economist Dr. Jewel Tanker. We got so many people coming in. Guys, you're going to be blown away. All right, so I'll see you guys in Charlotte. Go get your ticket right now.
Absolutely. All right, brother. I appreciate you. I know Tasha's in the back. She's over there saying, "Go, Charlotte." Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. See y'all. Bye.
All right, take care.